Before the great flood, they descended from the heavens to the mountains of Hermon, bringing forbidden knowledge to mankind, or so the legend goes. But who exactly are these enigmatic beings, and what did they have to do with the great flood? What secrets did they reveal to humankind? And why were they never supposed to do so? Join us as we peel back the layers of mystery that surround the fallen angels known as the Watchers. Did they walk among humans in ancient times? Could there be more to their story than meets the eye? Or are they nothing but a figment of our imagination? Let's find out. The Book of Enoch is one of the most controversial books ever written. It tells the story of how the angels known as the Watchers came to earth, mated with human women, and then brought them gifts of knowledge that were far beyond anything they could have ever imagined. However, this gift turned out to be a curse, as humanity was never meant to have such power. The Watchers then began to teach humans how to make weapons and other tools of war, as well as how to use magic and sorcery. This knowledge was not supposed to be given to mortals, and the Watchers knew that they would be punished for doing so. Nevertheless, they went ahead with it anyway. They also taught humans how to use plants and herbs for medicinal purposes, as well as how to read the stars and predict the future. They even showed them how to create calendars and count time. Humans were never supposed to have access to this kind of knowledge, and the Watchers knew that they were playing with fire. But despite the risks, they continued to share their gifts with humanity. But why? The answer, according to the Book of Enoch, is that the Watchers simply couldn't help themselves. They were too eager to share what they knew with those who were curious enough to listen. The Watchers were fascinated by humanity and wanted nothing more than to help them reach their full potential. They believed that humans were capable of great things and that all they needed was a little guidance. But the Watchers had no idea what they were getting themselves into. Humans are naturally inquisitive, and once you give them a taste of power, there's no telling what they'll do with it. The Watchers should have known better than to mess with humanity, but they were too blinded by their own arrogance to see the danger they were in. This is a really interesting concept to think about. Angels falling from grace and sharing their forbidden knowledge with humans. I think it raises some really interesting questions about free will and predestination. Are the Watchers simply following their own desires and goals, or are they carrying out a divine plan? And if so, what does this say about the nature of humanity? Are we inherently good or evil? Or are we capable of both? And what does it mean for us to be human? I think the Book of Enoch offers some really thought-provoking insights on these questions. The story of the Watchers is a cautionary tale about the dangers of playing God. The Watchers thought they were doing humanity a favor by sharing their knowledge, but they didn't realize the destructive power that they were unleashing. Humanity is capable of great things, but that doesn't mean we should have access to everything. There are some things that humans just aren't ready for, and the Watchers learned this the hard way. In the end, the Watchers were punished for their actions. They were bound up and thrown into the abyss where they will be for eternity. But not before they had sired children with the daughters of men. These children were called the Nephilim, and they were giants who lived in the days of old. They were strong and violent, and they terrorized the people of the earth. Eventually, God decided that he had had enough of the Nephilim, and he wiped them out, along with the rest of humanity in the Great Flood. However, there is another side to the story. Some believe that the Watchers weren't punished at all. In fact, they were simply misunderstood. See, the Watchers weren't evil by nature. They were just curious. They wanted to experience life on Earth and see what it was like to be human. That's why they fell in love with the daughters of men and had children with them. They thought they were doing something beautiful. What's wrong with that? Sure, the Watchers made a mistake. They shouldn't have shared their knowledge with humans. But in the end, it was humanity that chose to use that knowledge for evil. The Watchers didn't force anyone to do anything. They simply offered their gifts and let humanity decide whether or not to accept them. And what about the Great Flood? Is that really necessary? The Nephilim may have been giants, but they weren't evil by nature either. They were just different. They were half angel and half human, and they had special gifts and abilities that other humans didn't have. It's unfair to judge them by today's standards. Back then, the world was a much harsher place, and the Nephites were simply trying to survive. The Great Flood wasn't about wiping out the Nephites or punishing the Watchers. It was about giving everyone a fresh start. The world was corrupt and broken, and God had to do something drastic to fix it. The floodwaters may have washed away the old, but they also made way for the new. The story of the Watchers is a story about acceptance. It's about accepting those who are different from us and seeing the good in them, despite our differences. The Watchers weren't perfect, but they didn't need to be. They were just human. The same goes for the Nephites. They weren't evil, but they didn't need to be innocent either. They were just different. What do you think? Are the Watchers more than just fallen angels? Let me know in the comments below. The Book of Enoch is a fascinating work that has been shrouded in mystery and intrigue since its earliest days. Written in the 3rd century BCE, this ancient text tells the story of Enoch, the great-grandfather of Noah, and his journey to heaven, where he learns about the secrets of the universe and the fate of humanity. But the book doesn't just tell the story of Enoch's ascension. It also gives us insight into the nature of good and evil, the role of free will in our lives, and the ultimate fate of the world. Through its vivid imagery and thought-provoking parables, the Book of Enoch invites us to explore the deepest mysteries of existence and consider our place in the grand scheme of things. The influence of the Book of Enoch can be seen in other religious texts such as the Bible and the Quran. Many scholars believe that it was an important source for the author of the Gospel of Judas Iscariot, which contains Jesus' alleged secret teachings. Despite its historical significance and potential impact on other religious texts, the Book of Enoch has largely been forgotten over time. This is likely due to its exclusion from the biblical canon and the fact that it was written in a language other than Hebrew. However, in recent years there has been a renewed interest in this ancient work, and many scholars are beginning to appreciate its unique perspective on the nature of reality and the human condition. Whether you are a religious believer or a seeker of spiritual wisdom, the Book of Enoch has something to offer everyone. Its timeless teachings have the power to transform our understanding of the world and ourselves, and can provide us with a new way of seeing things. So if you are open-minded and curious about exploring the mysteries of existence, I encourage you to pick up a copy of the Book of Enoch and see what secrets it holds for you. So what do you think? Do you think the Watchers are still walking among us today? Are they still bringing their forbidden knowledge to those who seek it out? Or is that part of the mystery? We may never know for sure. But one thing is certain, the story of the Watchers is a reminder that we should be careful of the company we keep and the knowledge we seek out. For sometimes what we don't know can hurt us more than any wound we can see. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share for more videos like this. Until next time.